Hey everybody, it's Cindy here. Happy New Year to you. I haven't talked to you in a couple weeks, so if you haven't seen my end of the year video on how to jumpstart your new year and start fresh in a great way, you might want to go back and take a look at that. Basically, I suggested that you look over the previous year just long enough to find out what you're feeling really great about, what your successes were, what your wins were, and finding out what you don't feel so great about and what you want to change now after whatever you've experienced in the last year. And then set some intentions or resolutions or goals or whatever you want to call those for this year. And then if nothing else, you might want to look at life as what would make me happier, healthier, and wealthier. And keep those three things in your mind all the time, because most of our New Year's resolutions, most of our goals in this country anyway, tend to fall in one of those three categories. Oh, this would make me happier if I did this year. This would make me healthier if I did this year. This would make me wealthier if I did this year. So if that's an easier way to look at and approach your life in a new way, great. So whatever works for you, but no matter what, if you have goals, resolutions, or intentions, or big ideas about, or small ideas about what you want your year to be like, or how you want things to be different this year, write them down and read them every day. This will keep them very conscious in your awareness and move you into action on a more regular basis toward what you say that you want. When people don't write them down or read them every day, they often forget what they even are by March. Seriously. So it's a way to keep them right there, front and center in your life if it's what's important to you, which I would hope that would be. So today I want to talk about staying in the present, living in the now. Oftentimes we have a mentality, unfortunately, that we say to ourselves that what's happened to me in the past, my circumstances of the past, or because this happened to me then, that's why I am the way I am today. Or because I'm, a victim of this, that means this about me. It defines me in this way. And that doesn't have to be true at all. Those are thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. Now, I believe strongly that our experiences do affect us, and that we can create our lives based on how we respond to the circumstances of our lives. But that is different than saying that my past defines me. What's happened to me in my life keeps me stuck or keeps me from having the life that I really want. Because that doesn't have to be true at all. That doesn't have to be true at all. So that's what I want us to really explore today, is how to stay right in the now, right in the present, and not be attaching our ideas about what our life has to be like today based on what our life was like yesterday, last week, last year, or like in our childhoods, for example. Okay? I'm sorry for any difficult circumstances you've been through in your life. I hope you've grieved them and moved through them in a healthy manner. Part of moving through them completely and completely resolving them is to create the life that you most want today and not define yourself by your circumstances at all. So new year, new year, new year, new you, right? I hear that in a lot of venues right now, and I love that. New year, new you. So we can decide right now who we want to be and how we want to be. That no matter what's gone on previously at all. So one of my favorite authors is Dyer, and this is one of his older books, Wisdom of the Ages, but I'm reading a little excerpt out of it every morning as part of my morning devotional, setting up my day for myself. I read and meditate to jumpstart my day in a positive way, and today I read the chapter called The Now. And so these are some of the thoughts that he shares in his book. One of life's greatest illusions is the belief that the past is responsible for the current conditions of our lives. Often we assign this reason to explain why we cannot get out of a rut. He goes on to say, the tendency to blame our past for our current shortcomings is tempting It is the easy road. Everyone, and I emphasize everyone, has conditions and experiences in the past that can be used as excuses for inaction. It is an illusion to believe that the past is what drives or fails to drive your life today. So here are his 3 suggestions on how to live by this. He says, live today. Number 1, live today. Let go of all your attachment to your past as an excuse for your life conditions today. So first is letting go, right? Number 2, remove blame from your vocabulary completely. Blame. See, because what's happening, if you're blaming somebody, whether it's your parents or your ex or the neighbor or, anybody in your life at all, your boss, if you're blaming anybody for your circumstances in the past, you're giving them the power in your life. And you want the power in your life. The way you take power back in your life is to stop blaming other people and take 100% responsibility for your life, which is Jack Canfield's #1 success principle for a successful and happy life or business. Take 100% responsibility. So anytime we're blaming or complaining, we're moving away from that. And so Wayne Dyer says that too, remove all blame from your vocabulary. Then number 3, let go of your tears that have been a symbol of your attachment to the past. Gently remind the wounded part of yourself that that was then and this is now. Learn from your experiences. Learn from your experiences. Bless them as great teachers. And then come rushing back to the working unit of your life, which is the now. I love that. I love that. It's so freeing. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have to dwell on anything. I don't have to put myself in a category because, well, like I'm a kid from divorced parents. So what does that mean about me? What does that say about me? I could let that define me. I used to think that meant I couldn't have a successful relationship with another person. Why did I think that? That's so unfair to me and to anyone I'm in relationship with, really. So be careful how you do that to yourself, how you might have done that to yourself or are doing that to yourself. Now, if you want to get into an even deeper discussion or dig deeper on a philosophical or spiritual level on the concept of living in the now, this is another great book for that, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Now, I'm telling you, this book is not for sissies. This is an in-depth, deep discussion about this. So if you're looking for a light read, this is not the book for you. But if you really want to dig deep, this is a classic book in personal and spiritual development called The Power of Now. It's a lovely, lovely look into this whole concept of staying right here, because it's all we have, is what Eckhart Tolle says. It's all we have is the right now, and how to make the best of that. So another reason I wanted to talk to you about this today is because the other day I had a kind of a transitional time and I just flipped the television on for the heck of it. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, to tell you the truth. But this particular day, I happened to sit down right when there was a show on about Robert Downey Jr.'s life. And I am a Robert Downey Jr. fan. I like this guy. I've always kind of had my eye on him. And he's an actor. He's Iron Man. You might know him as Iron Man or Sherlock Holmes. He's been in gobs and gobs of movies over the years. But anyway, and this was about his life. And I knew he had struggled with addiction. And so I thought, oh, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hear this hour-long story of this guy's life. Well, guess what? Guess why he's an addict? When he was 8 years old, 8, a little boy, his dad gave him his first drugs. 8 years old. So obviously dad had a problem and passed it right on to Robert, right? So that set the stage for decades and decades and decades of addiction, crime, and problems for Robert Downey Jr. His life was seemingly on the outside pretty good in a lot of ways, like from maybe you and I viewing it, right, as observers, admiring his work. But behind the scenes, the guy was in jail, in rehab several times, committing crimes, had a marriage fail, abandoned a kid. I think this is what this show said. I think it's a legit show. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Financial ruin, the whole thing. And then his career even got into trouble finally. And so the guy's life for decades was consumed by his addiction, and he could not get past it, right? So, but guess what? You know, several stints in rehab didn't make it work, stick for him. But one day he'd had enough in his own life. He'd had enough. And what he said on the show was that he just decided, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm letting all this go. And so he released that and said, I am finished, and cleaned up his life. And then all kinds of wonderful things started happening. This is when he met his current wife, which appears to be a happy marriage. This is when his career skyrocketed with the Marvel series. He got the role as Iron Man. So like the last 12 years or so, he's been clean and sober and happy, and has another child, and is enjoying being a father, and so forth. So his past, which started, at least as far as we know, at age 8 with his dad giving him drugs, didn't have to define his whole life. It could have, and it did about ruin his life in several ways for several decades. Until what? Until he decided, I'm done with that. I don't have to be that anymore. I don't need that anymore. That's not me. That doesn't have to define me or my life. And I can be different now. New year, new you. If he can do that, after that, you and I can do anything. So happy New Year, and I will talk to you again soon.